Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday as you are listening to the show today. We, of course, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen, and it is Maker Monday. I am pretty happy. This is a new series that I am kicking off, and I could not think of a better person to have as my first guest for Maker Monday than somebody that we have talked about several times on the show in the last couple of months. Rebecca Johnson is on the Zoom with me. She is the owner of Bold Buffalo Candle Company, and I'm sure you've heard us talk about them. Carrie Hahn and I from Shenandoah County Tourism have talked about her several times. And Rebecca, I am so happy that you were able to arrange your schedule so that you can meet up with me on the Zoom screen. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to hear the backstory because I am just one of your, regular customers in that I discovered your candles at Richard's Fruit Market, picked up a few, brought them home, and fell in love with them. So it's going to be kind of cool now to get the backstory. Tell me, how long have you been making candles? How long has Bold Buffalo been in existence?
It's actually coming up on my 2-year anniversary in May. So it's been about 2 years now.
So not really that long. How did you come up with the idea?
Honestly, I've always been a crafter, and on one day it just kind of came to me, and I decided to do a little bit of research, and I just started making them.
A lot of us that burn candles, I think that it's way more complicated than it probably is to make them. How complicated is the process to create that finished product?
It was a little bit of research, a lot of trial and error, and then eventually you just kind of find your niche, and it's easy to me now. But I really enjoy it too, so that also make it easy.
Did you lose your sense of smell in that first 6 or 8 months of research, smelling and doing all of these scents?
No, but my husband maybe did. He's my top partner in this, and if I'm ever debating between 1 and 2 scents, I'll have him give a sniff test, and after a few, he's done.
He's probably wishing you had decided to express your creativity with something like cupcakes.
Yeah.
It could be a taste tester instead of a sniff tester.
Yeah, exactly. But he's really helpful. And usually if I'm on in between 2 scents, he'll help me decide. But usually I'll know which one I'm leaning towards. I just want an outside opinion.
Now, do you come up with those ideas and those scents based on the seasons? Do you buy candles and think, oh, this is a really cool smell, I want to duplicate that? I mean, how do you decide what scents you're going to do when?
Well, I've always been a candle person. My mom always had candles growing up. So I've kind of been drawn towards certain smells. Usually every season, I'll usually put out at least 2 to 3 new scents. I usually try to keep my mind open to not just what I like. And since it's been a couple years, I know what sells and what doesn't. One of my most popular, which actually I don't ever burn, is fresh coffee. And I believe that's your favorite.
Yes. I cannot tell you how many, and I hope my husband isn't listening, how many thousands of dollars I have spent on candles over the years that have said they smell like coffee. Mm-hmm. And they do, but they smell like burning the coffee grounds. They don't smell like coffee brewing in the pot. And when I found yours, I was over the moon.
Yes, yes. Actually, I did a lot of sniff tests for that one. But I found the most perfect one and it burns nicely and it's a really good seller. But I have some staple scents that I offer all year long, and then I have seasonal scents. Some of my seasonal scents, like Warm and Cozy, which is always a top seller. I've actually decided to keep that one in the year-round selection. So I have seasonal, and then I have staple, like everyday collection.
What are your favorite scents? I mean,
Oh,
outside of what you make, I mean, when you're looking at buying a candle, even before you started making them, were you the floral type? Did you like the citrus? Were you something more along the lines of everyday outside smells?
actually, I have always been drawn towards spice. So I'm a spice person. Not really the florals, but actually, since I started candle making, I found that I'm drawn to the deeper scents. So like Warm and Cozy, I don't know if you've ever smelled that. That's amber and sandalwood.
Hmm.
And I'm drawn to the deeper smells. So I have another one called Mostly Sunny that also is like a spring twist on Warm and Cozy. They're just so good. I just love the deep smells. And then the spice. So Country Store, a lot of people have told me Country Store smells exactly like a country store. That one burns just absolutely divine. It's spicy, it has berries, so it's a little bit sweet, a little bit spice. And then I have some I love clean smells too. So Almost Heaven is like a sea salt orchid. It's absolutely, it's just, oh, it's so nice. So I burn that one a lot. Warm and Cozy. I burn Porch Swing a lot as well. That's fruit. Fruit, a little bit of floral, but it smells like sweet, just like springtime on the porch.
So is that how you come up with the names for the candles? I'm going to ask you how you came up with the name for the
Yes.
company in a second, but how do you decide what you're going to name these different candle scents?
I literally sit and smell these candles or smell the fragrances and just try to envision something that reminds me of it. So I had the idea, I go with a general theme of country life. That's usually what I stick to. So Porch Swing, Country Store, Farmhouse, Fresh Coffee. But I usually just sit and try to think like, okay, do I see myself like for Warm and Cozy? That one took me a little while. It just felt warm and it felt really cozy sounding or smelling. So I just envisioned like, what do I name this? Like, under a blanket in front of a fire, something like that. But I came up with Warm and Cozy after a few. I don't remember the exact options I had, but it was a list that I was going through. I'm like, okay, take a sniff and then just envision it. And it's funny because when people smell my candles, they say, oh my gosh, this smells just like being warm and cozy. Or just, it smells just like a country store. You know what I mean? So I really take the time to, and I like that part. I really take the time to just try to match it to what I'm smelling.
Well, it's the upside. I mean, you and I were talking before we started recording for the show, and you talked about how you'd always been creative, and this was a really good creative outlet for you. Sometimes you get into these businesses where they're started because they're creative, but then you get in the weeds of the actual making of the product. So
Right.
you've been able to find a way to kind of get the balance between being
Yes.
creative and still making a really good product.
Yes, I love that part. So you're right. It's standard for me now. I know how to do it, so it's just pretty quick and easy for me. But where I take the creative side is labels. I usually have a fun twist on a label every season. So this season I took Field of Flowers and I have a cute little flower design. Rainbow Bright is a new scent. It's a really bright citrus smell, and I have a really cool vintage rainbow just across the label. It's super cute. Also, I do a lot of side projects with new businesses or just existing businesses. My latest one was Flower and Water Company in Woodstock. I created two custom candles for them. One was called a Fresh Baked Bread, and then another one was Snickerdoodle. So those are available at Flower and Water Company in Woodstock. Another project I just finished up was for a company in Woodstock, an esthetician. She just opened up her own business, Caroline Trubin, for Iris Skincare. She has actually in a really cool vessel, a 14-ounce vessel, and her one candle that she's selling is called Dew of the Sea. So that has rosemary and sage scents to or notes to it.
Last month every month I'm doing a series with Olivia Hilton from the town of Strasbourg called Strolling Strasbourg.
Mhm.
Last month we went to see Clementines. We
Yeah,
were
I
talking
listened
to
to that one.
Susan at Clementines, and she told me that she wanted a signature scent of oranges. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those are my two favorite things. You get those coffee and orange candles in here, and I am never leaving.
Yeah, I'm working on more candles for her, her own signature Clementine candles. And one other project that I'm actually two other projects. One of them is for a Airbnb in Mount Jackson called Cozy Escapes. So she's gonna sell her own vessels, like the cute cement type vessels there.
It sounds like it's just completely taken off.
Honestly, like, well, a lot of my creativity, like you were just talking about, you have the standard practice of just creating the candles, but then the creativity, like it's just endless opportunities, working. And I love telling people when I meet people, hey, I can design your own label if you want. So, and it helps them with their marketing, and it also keeps my name on the label, and it gives me the freedom to create something for them.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I do want to talk about how you came up with the name Bold Buffalo. And I want to talk a little bit about the ingredients because they are soy candles. They have the wood wicks. That does kind of set them apart from a lot of the other candles that you'll find. So, can we talk about all of those things in the next segment?
Yes.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Rebecca Johnson. She is the owner of Bold Buffalo Candle Company. This is Maker Monday as you are listening to the show. We, however, have pre-recorded it ahead of time on the Zoom screen, but either way, we will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a quick money chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday as you are listening to the show today. We have, of course, pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen, but it is Maker Monday, and we are talking to our first maker in my Maker Monday series, Rebecca Johnson. She is the owner of Bold Buffalo Candle Company. And Rebecca, we talked a lot in the first segment about how you got into this business, how it's grown. We were joking when we went to break about the creativity involved with coming up with the names of your candles, the different, I always call them flavors. It drives my husband crazy that I say, I like this flavor of candle. And he says, you're not eating it, you're smelling it. I'm like, I know, but flavors are easier to say than scents.
Sometimes when I'm writing a post on Instagram or Facebook, I accidentally say flavors. I'm like, nope.
So how did you come up though with the name for the company? Where did Bold Buffalo Candle Company name come from?
So the buffalo is said to be one of the only animals to turn and face a storm. I read a story once that the buffalo, when they see a storm coming, they turn and run right through it to get it just over with. And I just thought that was a really, really cool metaphor on life, to just turn and face your challenges and to go just head first right into it.
I love that. And it's kind of appropriate because starting a new business, that's kind of like facing a storm. You have no idea where you're going to end up when you first put all of this stuff out there.
Yeah, I thought it was just a really cool name, and it fits perfectly. And I love telling the story.
So tell me about the candles. We've talked a little bit about the different scents and the fact that you said several times it burns clean. These are soy candles. Why soy? Why was that the option that you chose?
So soy wax is all natural, and it's the cleanest of the waxes. It burns really clean. It doesn't have any chemicals in it. It's just plain soy. So it's actually, the soy wax I use is actually made from US soybeans. Yeah, I chose wooden wicks because I actually thought they were just really cool. And I wanted something a little bit different. So I went with the wooden wicks because they are clean burning. And the ones that I use are softwood harvested responsibly, and they're also made in the USA. So I'm proud to have products that are made here in the USA. I chose another reason why I chose the wooden wicks versus the cotton wicks was because they actually have a better hot throw, which means the amount of scent that comes out when you light the candle. So they have a wider base versus a cotton wick, as you can easily see if you look at one of the candles. And the hotter they get, the more throw they have. So they're able to get hotter, melt the wax, melt the whole first. As you know, you want to let the whole top layer melt before you blow the candle out.
So it's interesting though that you talk about how long to let it burn. Years and years ago, I had a client who owned a candle shop in Winchester. And one of the first things he taught me was, because the first thing I said to him was, I have these candles, but they keep burning down the middle. Is that
Yeah.
because it's a bad candle? Is the wick bad? What is it? And he said, no, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? How do you burn a candle a wrong way? His advice to me was take the diameter of the candle in inches. So if it's 6 inches long, then try to, when you light that candle, let it burn for an hour per inch of diameter, because then you want it to be completely liquefied on top before you blow it out, so that it then burns down evenly and doesn't just burn down through the center.
I actually send out a care card with every purchase. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen one, but it has directions or suggestions on how to burn the candle, because that does happen. So when you light the candle, you want to light it when you have enough time for the whole top layer to burn and to get liquefied. So soy wax actually liquefies a lot faster than paraffin wax, so it doesn't really take that long. But if you happen to light it and then you blow it out too soon, you will get a tunnel effect, and then it will not burn properly. So it won't get hot enough. It won't fully melt again, and you will not get the full benefits from the candle as far as scent or as far as life either.
Yeah, my ruined candles have ended up on coffee cup warmers to melt from the bottom up and try to salvage at least some of the scent, but those just never smell as good as when I actually light them and burn them.
No, yeah, so it's really important. And so I thought it was important to include that candle care card with each purchase.
How did you choose the jar? You mentioned earlier some of these special projects, you referenced it as the vessel. How did you choose what you were going to put the candles in?
Well, actually, I've always liked mason jars. I just love the rustic, minimal look. So I decided to use the mason jars, and I ended up sticking with them. So I went with the two sizes, the 8-ounce and the 16s. And the beauty of them is that they go without all decor, I feel. After you're finished with the candle, you can actually reuse the vessel. So when you burn down to, low enough in the jar, you can use hot water and just rinse out the wax. It'll be a little bit greasy, so you have to wipe it out as well. But you can reuse it I use them for makeup brush jars. You can plant plants in it, really anything. I also use them for pens and pencils. So there's a lot of different options. Buttons.
I will tell you, one of the tips that I have too is, because yes, cleaning them out, if there's just that little bit left in the bottom, I put them in the freezer.
Oh, yes.
Pop them in the freezer and leave them in the freezer for a couple of days. You can just take a butter knife and smack down the inside. It breaks into a bunch of pieces, toss it in the trash and wash it like normal.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm a candle connoisseur. So tell me where people can get them. We've been talking about candles now for, 20 some odd minutes. Where can people go to try one or to restock their selection?
Okay, so a few places that I've restocked last week, actually, are Richard's Fruit Market in Middletown, Clementine Vintage in Strasburg, the Pantry in Woodstock, and the Buttercup in New Market.
And then you've got the special projects that you talked about. So sometimes you can order, like you mentioned to me during the break, pedal pushers. You could maybe have somebody send you flowers and a candle comes along with it.
Yes, pedal pushers in Strasburg. Kelsey, she's extremely talented. She's going to start offering candles to go with her flowers as well. So there'll be a small selection of different scents that are available for purchase with her bouquets. That'll be coming up within the next month or so.
And then hopefully we get to the other side of this before summer is over, the other side of this pandemic. Do you go to events typically? I know Olivia's going to come back and talk about Vintage in the Valley. She has a Mother's Day market that's coming up in Strasburg. You're based in Shenandoah County. So I assume you'll try to attend some of those Shenandoah County events if it's safe.
Yes, I am scheduled to attend the Mother's Day Market in Strasburg and Vintage in the Valley in Strasburg as well. I believe Vintage in the Valley was postponed to the end of August, and the Mother's Day Market is May 8th.
And then if somebody goes somewhere and, like for me, for example, you mentioned Richard's Fruit Market. He's opening for the season. Actually, he's already opened for the season of sorts. People are listening to this on Monday, May 5th, April 1st, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Eddie is going to be open. That's where I go to get mine. But if I need a new candle, I want to pick something up for a gift. Can I order a scent that I already know that I like from you online somewhere?
Yes, I have an Etsy page, and you can also reach out to me on Instagram as well. I respond to messages there as well, and I'll work with whoever and whatever you need. I'll see what I have in stock. I usually just make my candles enough to stock vendors and my consignment shops. I have usually a low stock of candles in my actual shop, but if they can't find it at a local store, I will work with them. And sometimes I even actually make them for them specifically. If they want a scent that's out of season that I'm not currently offering at one of the stores, I'll work with them and I'll make that for them.
Well, you and I are going to have a conversation when we're done on the air about a custom candle for my Java Media marketing company that I think needs to be a combination of the fresh coffee and chocolate somehow.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking that, yes, it needs to be my signature mocha drink. And so people are going to, I'm going to give them out to all of my clients and we'll grow your business even more. And the next thing you know, you'll need a bigger candle making workshop.
I have a perfect chocolate one actually. So
awesome. So Instagram, Facebook, Bold Buffalo Candle Company, is that probably the best way to get information and find out where your candles are?
Yes. So I have on Facebook and Instagram, you can just type in Bold Buffalo Candle Co. and my profile will come up. And on Etsy, you can go into the search tab and search the same and I believe there's an option for shops but it's all one word on Etsy, Bold Buffalo Candle Co. And that will come up that way. I think also you can Google it and usually the 3 profiles will come up as well.
And I will put links to all of that in the show notes page. So if somebody's listening, they know they can go back there and check that out later. But Rebecca, thank you so much. This has been so cool for me to be able to meet the maker, literally.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
I will be back tomorrow. It is Tourism Tuesday. And so here's the thing. Here's the little background for tomorrow's Tourism Tuesday. Rebecca and I are recording this right now on a Wednesday morning. This coming Friday, which as you're listening to it was last Friday, Carrie Hahn and I are going to do a special segment called Wandering Around Woodstock. We are actually going to meet for lunch at Flower and Water. So I'm going to pick up some of Rebecca's candles these new scents while I am at Flower and Water. And then we're going to be chatting with the Virginia Farmhouse and Traveler's Treasures in Woodstock. That's going to be the show you're going to listen to tomorrow. So hopefully we do a good job when we record it on Friday. Regardless, I know you're completely calendar confused now. Just meet me back here tomorrow, a few minutes after noon, and we'll have a great Tourism Tuesday on tap for you.